question for you. Have you ever read through the entire Bible? I remember one time when I was in high school, I was in a locker room, and a friend of mine who I didn't even know was really a believer in God, he just mentioned that he had read the whole Bible. And I was like pretty passionate about God and following Jesus. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I've actually read through the whole Bible. And it just spurred me on to actually read through the whole Bible. And it's something now that I've done many times. But I think for most of us, we probably haven't actually read through the whole Bible. We live at a time right now where the Bible is a pretty controversial book. It's also the highest selling book. It's the most influential book on the planet. It's probably the one that is referenced the most. But most people haven't actually read through it all. And my question to you is, have you read through the whole Bible? And I want to talk to two different kinds of people in this little video, okay? So the first is Jesus followers. If you're a Jesus follower and you haven't read the whole Bible, I want to challenge you to read it. Look for what God is saying to you. Look for the meta narrative, the big story, and how all of it points together in Jesus. And the second type of person is maybe you're a skeptic, or maybe you're an atheist, or maybe you have strong feelings about the Bible and you don't believe it, but you haven't actually read it. I would encourage you, I would challenge you, read it. Go to the source. There's lots of things that have been done in God's name that have been horrible. There's, some pretty negative ideas about the church and about people who call themselves Christians today. And there's lots of kind of accusations. And for most people that have strong feelings about the church or don't agree with, or they, perceive they don't agree with the Bible, they haven't actually read it all the way through. And so I want to just challenge you, whether you fall in one of those two camps or maybe you fall in a different one, to actually read through the whole Bible this year. One of the things that I'm challenging our church to do this year is to follow the reading plan done by, it's called the Bible Recap. A lady named Tara Lee Cobble has put together a reading plan. It's a 365-day chronological reading plan. And so you got to go to the website, you print off the 4 pages that'll show you how to read through the Bible chronologically, which means as it happens. So it's not in the order you find it. It's in the order of the event. And then there's a little 8-minute podcast, or you can watch it on YouTube, where she does just a really brief recap of what you just read. And so if reading the Bible is really intimidating, if it's one of those things where you're like, I don't even know if I can understand it, I don't understand half of what people are saying when they preach about the Bible, this is a really good starting point. I'm doing it with my family. I'm encouraging my church to do it this year. And so what you do is you read your daily reading, you listen to the recap, and then if you're a believer in Jesus, you just listen for what God is saying to you through his word. If you're somebody who's skeptical or you're on the fence, read it with an open heart and look for what the Bible actually is saying. And not just in the 1 or 2 passages that you're reading that day, but the big picture of what the scriptures teach. And so if you're watching this video on Instagram, on my story, I'm going to have a link to the website. But if you just go to the Bible Recap, you'll find it. Look for the Bible Recap /start, and it'll show you where you can find the podcast. It'll show you how to print off those 4 pages. It's called the Bible Recap. Tara Lee Cobble is her name, and I would highly recommend jumping into that this year for 2023. Let's start well so that we can end well.